have we actually been up to at City Bible Forum? Well, like everyone else, our big plans for 2020 were derailed and we quickly had to adapt to the online space. And thankfully, we've had the opportunity to pool our resources as a national organisation and work together in new and exciting ways. So a couple of weeks ago, we ran The Edge with Sam Chan and Natasha Moore, and they were discussing the topic Fear of the Future. And that had over 1,000 people live streaming the event on the night. So that was really exciting. And what's been even more exciting about it is that many people invited their non-Christian friends and families and family members and colleagues. And the follow-up seems to be going really well also. There are people that have become open to reading the Bible for the first time with a friend. So that's something that's been really exciting. We've also been able to move our men's breakfasts online, where we alternate between an all-in speaker session and then localised small groups. This is something we were doing in Hobart every 2 weeks, but now we've combined with the Sydney and Brisbane teams to do them over Zoom every Friday. And these have been really important times for guys to share how they're coping with everything and processing what's going on together, having people to talk to. As well as hearing from interesting speakers as they share aspects from their life that have often been timely and encouraging in this time of crisis. So a couple of weeks ago we had John Lennox share about his life and faith in the academic world, and we had about 300 men tuning in for that. Then a few weeks before that we had Professor Ian Harper, who sits on the board of the Reserve Bank of Australia. And he shared about his passion for economics as a Christian, and he spoke about the current situation with an authority and insight that many would have found really helpful. So those have been some highlights in terms of what we've done over the last few months. And they've been fantastic events, super easy to invite friends along to, and friends that don't even live in Hobart as well. So I invited a few people from Sydney, Melbourne, and and they tuned in for it. If you want to read more stories about that, we just released our May newsletter, which has plenty of encouraging stories from around the country. And the final thing I just wanted to quickly talk about is where to next. So, like many churches, we're starting to think about what the easing of restrictions will mean for public gatherings and meetings and evangelism. And I think it's okay to kind of embrace this season of uncertainty. But at the same time, we want to recognise that this moment is really important. For a long time, Australia's default setting for spirituality has largely been a state of apathy or ignorance in the literal sense of ignoring religion, not paying much attention to it. But this pandemic has shaken the foundations of what many people believe. We've been forced to face our human mortality, and people are experiencing that wealth and affluence and job security, comfort, even human connection, they're not a given. They can be taken away in a moment. And so people are going to be looking to other places for certainty and solid ground, probably in ways they haven't before. And this is definitely a place that the church can kind of step up to the plate. So in terms of evangelism, I'd love to encourage all of us to keep thinking about ways that we can creatively engage and support people with the good news of the gospel, both in word and deed. And to that end, I'd also like to recommend some new content that Sam Chan and City Bible Forum are putting together called the Post-COVID-19 Playbook. And what these are, they're a series of short videos that can be watched and then discussed in your small groups. So maybe even think about running them in your church to keep evangelism at the forefront through this time. So those are a few thoughts on evangelism at the moment and during the coronavirus. We'll be praying that God continues to use this time to help us engage with Greater Hobart and Tasmania and Australia. But I hope that you found that encouraging, and thanks for tuning in. Hopefully see you face to face soon.